hmm Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about intimacy in relationships. And when it comes to intimacy, we all need support. I'm here to help. Like the first time I talked to my clients, Kevin and Jackie, and I asked, how often are you guys connecting? Kevin said, ugh, hardly ever, only on Saturdays. And Jackie said, ugh, constantly, every Saturday. It may look like their issue is about sex, but it's actually about intimacy. Intimacy, into me, see is when you feel safe to open up and show yourself fully. It's what makes you feel secure in the love connection, even when you're not physically together. It's the heart and home, the foundation of your relationship. Without intimacy, people feel lonely, isolated, and shame, like they're in a sexless relationship, even if they are getting some, because sex and intimacy are not the same thing. In today's world, we crave security, love, passion, and companionship more than ever. We get into relationships to heal, but then we hide our vulnerabilities and our desires from each other. The reason their relationships and marriages are breaking up is not because they don't love each other. It's not the lack of love, it's the lack of intimacy. The problem I see is that since sex, love, relationships seem natural, you expect it to happen naturally. And then when it doesn't, you feel broken. The loss of intimate connection is what makes partners feel like they're roommates. And as the distance grows, you feel stuck and alone. But the truth is, you're not stuck alone. They're stuck in it together. Maybe you love each other, but everything feels like a chore. Maybe you love each other, but it feels like you're miles apart. Being in an intimate relationship without intimacy is like it's like being on a football team with no practices and no games and expecting to make it to the Super Bowl and then being surprised when you don't. You're an intimacy team trying to score at love without a practice, but love doesn't just happen. You have to make it. Did you know that there are three relationship phases? First is the honeymoon phase. That's when it's easy. Love will keep us together forever. In sports, this is when you made the team. It's so exciting. And you're focused on the sameness. Look, we have the same names on our jerseys. This is great. We're going all the way to the Super Bowl. Mhm. The second phase, that's the power struggle. That's where you or most couples get stuck. It's where you want to break up instead of make up. In sports, this isn't fun. Why do we have to run laps? I already know how to throw the ball. Can't we just play the game? The third phase, they call true love. I call it the love you man phase. Why? Because picture a team, even after a bad game. Picture that the Super Bowl, they lost the Super Bowl because Joe dropped the ball. Ugh, can you imagine? But even after the game, Joe's teammates still say to him, love you, man. Why? Because they understand that even the best players and the best teams foul, right? And because they understand that when you have a coach and a plan and a practice, you trust that you can recover, get back in the game, grow better, and grow old together, right? Memorable games, good sportsmanship are not an accident. They say relationships take work. I say you need more play. And if you don't play together, you will grow apart. But what do you do when there are problems, when there are issues like erectile dysfunction, pain, trauma, porno brain, hormonal issues, betrayal, lack of desire, communication, or libido? What if you don't know what you want, but you know that something's missing? It's always the intimacy. Avoiding, ignoring, and hoping it'll resolve itself, it doesn't work. Imagine waking up every day, looking at your partner, feeling the disconnect. You love them, but it's missing. Days turn into weeks, turn into months, and before you know it, years have passed. The laughter, loving glances, the little playful nudges, they're distant memories. The silence between you is deafening. The unexpressed loss and longing becomes unbearable. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario. This was me. I was stuck in a sexless relationship, a marriage, and I knew that we weren't the only ones. I'm Amy Keller, your intimacy coach, named the best intimacy coach of 2023. Maybe you've seen my TED Talk, Better Intimacy for Better Sex, with over 1 million views. I've written the book, The Huddle, How to Score in Sex and Love. It's written with the guys in mind. I understand that it's hard for men to reach out for help or to talk about the F word, feelings. I was once married to the man of my dreams, but we were struggling with an issue that felt like a nightmare, erectile dysfunction. I knew it before I married him, but I didn't care. I loved all of him. He's the most sexiest, interesting man I've ever met. And I just loved the way he adored me. I figured we'll get creative, we'll find our sexy groove, but I was wrong. No matter how much we loved each other, the feelings of shame and inadequacy grew overwhelming, and it was affecting all parts of our lives. Sure, we looked for help. His doctor gave him pills. We tried couples therapy. Watching my husband in the hot seat trying to talk to a counselor was painful and certainly not helping. And sex therapy was surprisingly out of touch with our very real sexless reality. Date nights or giving each other massages was only more frustrating. We tried everything. We saw the best erection specialist in all of Beverly Hills. When he talked about pills, pumps, and injections and implants, I cried. None of those things are a cure for a lack of intimacy, confidence, or skills. You can't talk or poke your way to an intimate relationship. I wanted to make love with my husband, explore, get kinky and perverted, and that does not require a hard-on, and I can prove it in one word: lesbians. I couldn't help from within my relationship because it felt like sexual criticism, and that's just hurtful. I desperately wanted someone to help my husband feel confident in the bedroom, someone like a football coach who could help him learn a few moves and make a pass. I was devastated splitting up my little family, and I went searching for solutions. Surely someone has addressed real intimacy issues in relationships. I knew we weren't the only ones dealing with a lack of intimacy, bedroom issues, or erectile dysfunction. Relationships, marriages, and families are breaking up not because they don't love each other, but because they aren't making love for whatever reason. You can't talk or sex your way to a loving relationship. It's time for real solutions. The word therapeutic means good for the mind, body, and soul. I thought couples and sex therapy should be like a therapeutic spa, someplace where you can show up disheveled and leave aligned, feeling secure, connected, understood, and well loved. Sound good? Mm-hmm. I studied and researched, and along the way, I've earned multiple certifications in therapy, couples, sex, human behavior, tantra, addictions, trauma, and more. I've been helping people with intimacy, sex, relationships, love, and life for over 20 years. My clients weren't looking for a therapist or even a coach, really. They were looking for solutions. They heard about a wise, understanding woman who could help them with real life issues. No therapy talk or labels, no shame or judgment. They trusted me and came with their authentic selves, vulnerabilities, shame, traumas, and truths, and I helped them profoundly. No matter what people came to me for, they learned about intimacy, how to feel emotionally and physically safe and secure, to open up and feel the connection. Intimacy is the foundation of your life and relationship. The way you feel about yourself in your primary relationship is the level of success and confidence you feel in all parts of your life. Make sense? Mm-hmm. And without that secure connection, you feel fragile, like you're walking on eggshells. Understand? Mm-hmm. Are you with me? If you're understanding, if you're with me, give me an mm-hmm. 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 That mm-hmm sound, that is a huddle. And the huddle, mm-hmm, is the sound of intimacy and connection. Everything starts with a huddle. I discovered this intimacy hack by helping thousands of clients create the connection that you can feel, and that's what heals. In my office, I developed a step-by-step routine based on the nervous system that connects and heals the mind, body, heart, and soul wordlessly. People think that they're supposed to find love, get in a relationship, and suddenly know how to make love and make it last forever. Then, if there's an issue, they may think about leaving this team and go finding a new team. But understand that every team, every relationship is going to fall into that power struggle, and you're going to need to practice if you want to make it to the love you man phase. Make sense? Mm-hmm. The truth is, you don't learn how to be on a team and play together until you make the team. Having an intimacy game plan and a practice is what makes you an intimacy team. You're in it for the love of the game, practicing love. And just like a team, the practice is how you increase your emotional and physical awareness. It's where you learn empathy, understanding, and bond without just talking. And it's that repetition that brings comfort, trust, and security. That's what transforms you from roommates to playmates. That's how you get to the love you man phase. Picture a couple who learned a dance for their wedding, and then whenever they hear that song, it's their cue. Oh, we know this. We know what to do. Let's go. Mm-hmm. When it comes to being good at dancing, football, intimacy, sex, and relationships, learning the cues, practicing a few simple steps is all it takes to make it look easy. When it comes to team sports, it's knowing that you're both into it that makes it satisfying. Knowing that you're in it together is the key. Knowing that you're growing old together, that's the prize. Having an intimacy game plan is having a strategy and a coach for your favorite sport. Mm-hmm. My clients say to me, we learned more in one exercise than we did in years of talk therapy. We practiced kissing. I was all in and I loved it. Jackie said, finally, this is what was missing. Kevin said, we don't fight so much and now we can talk about anything. A wife told me, I didn't realize how much anxiety this was causing me. I constantly felt like we weren't going to make it. And now I know where we'll be in 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 years. I often hear, I wish we had this years ago. So do I. My former husband had this to say, and he wrote the foreword to my book. If this had been around during our marriage, our family might still be together. Using this method, I could have eased into sex and explored it rather than try to accomplish it on demand, which just made me feel like I was not good enough and inadequate, the basis of my fear of intimacy. It also would have established trust between us, and it would have been fun, something to look forward to and enjoy, which sex and intimacy no longer was for me, and not you either, I'm sure. This is what we needed, and there's nothing else like it out there. And in the end, it gives our marriage some meaning, and I thank you for that. I wish I had known this earlier, and I hope everyone learns this. I believe every couple needs an intimacy game plan. I would have given anything to have this when we needed it. Don't give up. And don't let doubt hold you back from having it all. You're not alone. I'm here to help. We've got this. With an intimacy game plan and me as the coach in your corner, you can go from roommates to playmates. I want you to feel the love you man phase. Apply to become a member of this revolutionary program. Real solutions for real intimacy in real relationships. reach out. You get to talk to me directly, and I want to hear all about you. And together we'll find out if this program can help you. I hope to see you on the inside. In the meantime, stay connected to yourself, each other, and me. And I'll see you soon. Okay? Mm-hmm.